world of smartphones, two heavyweights stand above the rest: the iPhone and Galaxy S series. Apple and Samsung continually strive to one-up each other with their latest flagship releases. In 2023, the competition is as fierce as ever between the new iPhone 15 Pro Max and Samsung's Galaxy S23 Ultra. Both phones bring incredible power and innovation. I'll be comparing the key features and capabilities of these two smartphone titans with breakdowns of their designs, displays, performance, cameras, and other important factors. Speaking of which, let's get started with design. This year on the Pro line of iPhones, we are getting an all-new titanium design. That's right, stainless steel has been retired, and in its place is an aerospace-grade titanium alloy that frames the sides of the iPhone 15 Pro devices. This creates the most durable iPhone build yet, while keeping them incredibly lightweight. Seriously, these phones feel so much lighter in the hand, which was my main complaint about the iPhone 12, 13, and 14 Pro devices. The titanium alloy also allows the border widths to be shrunk down, so we also have the thinnest bezels ever on an iPhone. I know a lot of people are obsessed with bezels and will be super happy to hear this, so there you have it. Apple then used those smaller bezels to shrink down the dimensions of the phone instead of keeping them the same and making the screen a little bit larger. And again, I think that was the right move because this phone is much easier to hold in the hand. But it's not just about aesthetics. The internal redesign also utilizes 100% recycled aluminum for improved repairability. So you get a more sustainable iPhone that's easier to repair. Now, when it comes to the Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra, there are a few things you notice right away. The cameras on the back are even bigger this time around when compared to the Galaxy S22 Ultra, and the display is flatter. There's still a gentle curve on the 6.8-inch panel, but you get a slimmer curve with a flatter surface area, which makes using an S Pen a bit more comfortable. I'm one of those people who would always prefer a flat display, as I'm not a fan of the phantom touches on the sides of the phone when using it, or the sometimes difficult method of selecting text or a button that just happens to be located along the curve. Now, like the iPhone 15 Pro Max, the Galaxy S23 Ultra is also built for longevity. It was the first phone with Corning's Gorilla Glass Victus 2, which promised to protect the front and back better from scratches and drops. Both phones offer IP68 water and dust resistance, but the iPhone 15 Pro Max can go to depths of 6 meters for 30 minutes, while the S23 Ultra can only go to 1.5 meters for 30 minutes. Now, before we jump into some of the more unique feature comparisons, the holiday shopping season is here and Newegg is ready with their second biggest sale of the year, FantasTech 2. Big shout out to them for sponsoring this video. You can score deals on Intel's Raptor Lake processors, Nvidia's blazing fast RTX 40 series graphic cards, a high-powered gaming laptop from Lenovo. There's even a lightning fast NVMe SSD for under $100. Newegg makes upgrading easy with the FantasTech 2 sale. Hit the link in the description below to check out all the deals now through October 13th. Now, in terms of unique features, the Galaxy S23 Ultra obviously supports the S Pen. I know that stylus input is very important to a section of users out there, and if that's you, you just won't find a similar experience like this on the iPhone. What you will find though is the highly customizable action button, which replaces the mute switch. Now, I did a video on this specific feature, which I will link below, but there is way more power in this one button than you might realize thanks to the shortcuts integration. I'm planning another dedicated video on how you can supercharge your action button by using shortcuts, so be on the lookout for that one soon. Okay, next, let's talk performance. The iPhone 15 Pro Max is all about the new A17 Pro chip. It's a whole new architecture built on a 3nm process with improvements to the CPU, GPU, and neural engine. The 6-core CPU is up to 10% faster thanks to these architectural improvements. That makes it the fastest CPU in any smartphone and rivals speeds found in desktop PCs. But the real news is the all-new 6-core GPU. It introduces a totally redesigned architecture that amplifies graphics and gaming capabilities to never before seen levels in a smartphone. Demands of professional workflows like ProRes video and the new 48 megapixel camera output are easily met with dedicated imaging and video pipelines. And bleeding edge gaming features like ray tracing create console quality visuals on an iPhone for the first time. I'll have a dedicated video coming on that as well, but let me just say that playing Resident Evil Village on a smartphone at this quality, was insane. I can't wait to see how other games like Death Stranding and Assassin's Creed Mirage look with the power of the A17 Pro behind them. The Galaxy S23 Ultra, on the other hand, is using a custom version of Qualcomm's Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 platform called the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 for Galaxy. The main difference is an accelerated CPU with up to 3.36 GHz speeds, alongside an upgraded GPU that has faster performance and increased power efficiency. It also provides for real-time hardware accelerated ray tracing to bring lifelike light, reflections, and illuminations in mobile games, but that is the key difference, I think. The iPhone's A17 Pro is looking to bring console games into the mobile space rather than just optimizing for mobile games, which is something that the Snapdragon isn't capable of doing just yet. Both devices start at 256 gigabytes of storage with 8 gigabytes of RAM, but the Galaxy S23 Ultra does offer 12 gigabytes of RAM at the top end. Apple also uses NVMe storage, which is faster than the Galaxy's UFS 4.0 storage, with lower latency to boot. Okay, next, let's talk about these displays. At 6.8 inches, the S23 Ultra is slightly larger than the 6.7-inch iPhone 15 Pro Max. It makes use of a dynamic AMOLED panel with a sharp 3200 by 1440 resolution and an adaptive 120Hz refresh rate. This produces incredibly vibrant images and graphics. By comparison, the iPhone sports a Super Retina XDR OLED display, also with an adaptive 120Hz refresh rate and a 2796 by 1290 resolution. However, it leverages Apple's optimization between software and hardware for excellent color accuracy. Now, side by side, the S23 Ultra reveals stronger contrast for deep blacks and vivid highlights, while the 15 Pro Max can get over 500 nits brighter, maxing out at just above 2000 nits. This boost comes in handy under bright sunlight. Another visual difference between the two displays is obviously that small hole punch camera cutout on the S23 Ultra versus the dynamic island on the iPhone 15 Pro Max. And I've got to say, Apple's done well to market the dynamic island, and this year with support for live actions, it really becomes useful, like being able to track your Uber Eats orders or control your music and podcasts, or monitor your flights with my favorite dynamic island app, Flighty. Not sponsored. It's the most Apple-y way of obfuscating the camera hole by turning it into a feature of the phone. Ultimately, both deliver excellent displays, so the ideal display depends on your personal preferences for size, resolution, and peak brightness. Next, let's talk about the cameras. Built into the camera app in the iPhone are 7 different focal lengths through computational photography, making the camera super versatile. I've seen a few people online saying that you are getting 7 different lenses, but that's not the case. You have 3 lenses back here, but you can choose a 1.2x and 1.5x focal lengths for 28 and 35 millimeter equivalents, respectively, on top of the 24 millimeter. The main 48 megapixel camera now captures even finer details at a crisp 24 megapixel resolution by default by taking a binned 12 megapixel image with the larger quad pixels for great low light and detail and combining it with the full 48 megapixel image with individual pixels so it picks up all the detail. Apple's photonic engine then goes to work applying deep fusion and smart HDR in the entire image pipeline to give you excellent 24 megapixel photos. And that's with 0 shutter lag, which is more than I can say for just about any other phone on the market. Another big one in the camera this year for the iPhone is the 48 megapixel HEIF. This allows you to take a full 48 megapixel image at a tremendously smaller file size, about 5 megabytes versus 75 megabytes when shooting a 48 megapixel shot in Pro RAW. Of course, videos taken on the iPhone 15 Pro continue to be industry leading as it pertains to quality as well. Whether you're using the camera for photos or video, you're gonna come away happy with the results. Now, the iPhone 15 Pro Max also boasts the biggest innovation across this year's iPhones, and that's the tetraprism design, which enables a telephoto lens that achieves a 5x optical zoom, giving you a 120 millimeter focal length with an f2.8 aperture, enabling great close-ups. Paired with a new 3D sensor shift image stabilization technology, even shots at full zoom stay crisp and steady as the sensor shift module moves in all 3 directions corrections for the first time on any smartphone. This provides up to 10,000 micro adjustments per second, which is twice as many as the iPhone 14 Pro Max. Also for the first time, the Pro camera system on the iPhone meets the demands of professional filmmakers. Capturing log-encoded ProRes video to external SSD drives enables cinema-grade post-production workflows without having to eat into your iPhone's storage. Meanwhile, over on the Galaxy S23 Ultra, the main rear camera boasts a wide 200 megapixel sensor with optical image stabilization, laser autofocus, and an f1.7 aperture. This allows for ultra fine resolution, millions of colors, and the ability to print photos into canvas-sized images. Now additionally, the super quad pixel technology provides enhanced autofocus by having more points of reference. The camera also features nightography, a pro-grade night photography mode that captures bigger and more detailed shots in low light. The ultra-wide camera is a 12 megapixel sensor with an f2.2 aperture, and the zoom camera features 3x and 10x optical zoom and 100x space zoom. The S23 Ultra also includes a new night portrait mode on the front-facing camera, which uses AI to analyze things like glasses and hair that portrait modes typically struggle with, resulting in a nicely blurred background effect. Super HDR is also applied on the front camera for more dynamic range. The Galaxy S23 Ultra also features an expert RAW mode, which gives users access to the uncompressed data from the image. This allows for more flexibility in post-processing and editing as the full range of color and detail is preserved. Another feature of the S23 Ultra's camera is astrophoto mode, which is specifically designed for capturing night sky photos. This mode uses multiple exposures and advanced image processing to produce clear and detailed shots of stars and galaxies. Next, let's talk battery life. The Galaxy S23 Ultra has a 5,000 milliamp hour battery, which does a great job at getting you through the day, or at least that's what I found over the past 8 months or so. It's a really solid battery that you rarely need to worry about. With the iPhone 15 Pro Max being newer, I haven't had the same amount of time to test it out and get used to it, but what I can say is that it's a welcome change from the 14 Pro Max, which I regularly felt like would hit me with a low battery notification in the late afternoon. The iPhone 15 Pro Max has a 4,422 milliamp hour battery, but with iOS 17 optimizations and the newer 3nm A17 Pro processor, the efficiency gains could end up helping out iPhone owners tremendously this time around. Both phones offer USB-C connectivity, which is the first time we've ever been able to say that, but you're still stuck with relatively slower 29-watt charging speeds on the iPhone, while the S23 Ultra charges at up to 45 watts. Neither includes a fast charger in the box, so you have to grab one on your own if you don't already have one. Wireless charging is also faster on the Samsung device at up to 25 watts, while the iPhone can do wireless MagSafe and Qi 2 charging at up to 15 watts, or Qi charging at 7.5 watts. Now, those are the major categories I think people who are truly on the fence are gonna wanna consider. The biggest variable though is gonna be if you prefer using iOS or Android. In that case, then the decision has kind of already been made for you, unless you're willing to switch. Thanks for watching as always, guys. I appreciate your support. I'm Andrew Edwards, and I will catch you in the next video.